The world stopped on December 28, 2025, as the ultimate icon Brigitte Bardot took her final breath. While many recall her beauty, few knew the darkness she carried. She was not just a star. She was a woman hunted by fame, trapped in a golden cage of her own making. We are here not to praise a goddess, but to understand a human who survived fame's fire. From suicide attempts to forbidden loves and a boundless sexual appetite, this is the true untold story of BB. Born into a strict bourgeois Parisian family, Bardot's childhood was suffocating rather than glamorous. She felt unloved and ugly, describing herself as a shy shadow at home. This early emotional neglect planted the seeds for a lifelong hunger for affection and physical touch. Her only escape was ballet, training her body to perfection while her soul remained fragile. This desperation for validation would later lead her into dangerous arms and the beds of countless men. Her first act of rebellion came at 16 when she met Roger Vadim. Her parents were horrified by this bohemian romance, threatening to send her to a convent. The emotional pressure was so intense that Brigitte attempted suicide, putting her head in a gas oven. This was the first warning of a mental health battle that would last a lifetime. She survived, married Vadim, and stepped onto the path where her sexuality would soon be displayed to the entire world. Vadim created the legend but turned her into a sexual object. With the film And God Created Woman, Bardot became a taboo-shattering icon of desire. Dancing barefoot with messy hair and no bra, she demolished conservative morals. The Vatican declared her a symbol of sin, while men fantasized about sleeping with her. She was no longer a person. She was a global libido. Yet this flood of desire could not fill the void in her soul. The paparazzi became her worst nightmare, stalking her every move with ruthless aggression. They climbed walls and photographed her most intimate moments, even her romantic escapades. This constant surveillance triggered severe anxiety and a fear of being followed. She felt like prey in a zoo, watched even inside her bedroom. This violation of her basic privacy fueled a hatred for humanity that would define her later years. Her love life was chaotic and filled with insatiable hunger. She revolutionized gender roles by claiming the right to have affairs just like men. Her passionate affair with co-star Jean-Louis Trintignant caused a massive scandal, followed by Gilbert Bécaud and Sacha Distel. The press branded her a man-eater, ignoring that she was simply a woman trying to control her own pleasure in a world that wanted to consume her body. In 1959, she married Jacques Charrier in a frenzy, but the marriage was a disaster. Domestic life and fidelity were not for her. The relationship was filled with jealousy, screaming matches, and physical fights. During this turbulent time, she became pregnant. For Bardot, who valued her freedom and her body above all else, this biological event would turn into one of the biggest traumas of her entire life. Her pregnancy with Nicolas was her most damaging scandal. She did not want to be a mother. She was still a child chasing her own pleasures. She viewed the baby as an invader threatening her sexual allure. Famously comparing the fetus to a tumor feeding off her, she shocked the public. Deprived of painkillers during birth due to paparazzi outside, the trauma of delivery severed the maternal bond before it could even form. After her son's birth, the pressure became unbearable. On her 26th birthday, at the peak of her fame, Bardot tried to end her life again. She swallowed a bottle of pills and slashed her wrists in a field, wanting to die under the stars. She was found in time, but the message was clear. The most desired and made love to woman in the world was miserable. The media called it drama. In reality, it was a desperate cry for help. She gave custody of her son to Charrier's family, an act the public never forgave. She was labeled a monster who abandoned her child for her career and sexual freedom. The guilt weighed on her, but she refused to fake maternal instincts she did not possess. This honesty was brutal, yet it was her truth. Her relationship with Nicolas remained distant and strained. a casualty of her refusal to conform to societal expectations. Her marriage to German millionaire Gunter Sachs was a blur of hedonism and emptiness. He wooed her by dropping roses from a helicopter, but the relationship was a power display. Bardot realized that wealth, jet-set parties, and rumors of group sex only deepened her depression. She felt like a trophy wife, a piece of meat on display. The marriage ended quickly, reinforcing her belief that traditional love was a lie. The late 60s brought her iconic affair with Serge Gainsbourg, filled with high-dose erotism. They recorded Je t'aime, moi non plus, a song so full of orgasmic sighs that the Pope banned it. It was so explicit that Bardot, afraid her husband would hear it, stopped its release. Nights with Gainsbourg were passionate, but she always woke up with a void. She was the ultimate sex symbol, yet incredibly lonely. Even after Gainsbourg, she didn't stop. Patrick Gilles, Miroslav Brožek, and countless flings followed. But in 1973, at 39, she stunned the world by quitting cinema forever. She was tired of the industry, makeup, and exploitation. Stating she had given her youth and beauty to men, she vowed to give her energy to animals. It was an attempt to transform from a sexual object into a spiritual warrior. Leaving the spotlight did not bring immediate peace. The transition was harsh. In a world where she was valued only for her hips and lips, she had to find a new purpose. She sold her jewelry to fund her foundation. This was her redemption. Animals did not view her as a sexual commodity, did not judge her body, and did not betray her. In their eyes, she found the pure, unconditional loyalty that no lover had ever been able to give her. However, her later years were marred by different scandals. Bardot became controversial due to her fierce political views, convicted multiple times for inciting racial hatred in France. Her conservative comments on immigration, Islam, and homosexuality shocked former fans. The liberal icon who once led the sexual revolution had transformed into a rigid, intolerant recluse with hard right views, alienating many. Critics argued her empathy for animals came at the expense of humans. She often stated she preferred dogs to people, citing male infidelity and human cruelty. This misanthropy was rooted in past traumas. The paparazzi in her bedroom, the betrayals, and the whore labels. Her heart had hardened against humanity as a defense mechanism. She built a fortress around herself, both physically and emotionally. Living in seclusion at La Madrague, she became a ghost of her former self. Arthritis ravaged the body once desired by millions, but she refused plastic surgery, embracing aging as a rebellion against vanity. The woman who once generously displayed her body chose to hide it in old age. Yet the media mocked her looks, proving her point about how cruel the world is to women who dare to age naturally. Her relationship with her son Nicholas remained a tragic chapter. She wrote harsh things about him in her memoir, leading to a lawsuit from her own child. It was a public display of a private wound that never healed. While she saved thousands of seals and dogs, she could never repair the bond with her own flesh and blood. It was her life's great paradox, a savior to the voiceless, but a villain in her own home. As years passed, Bardot's isolation grew. She surrounded herself with animals, creating a sanctuary where she was protector, not prey. Her death in late 2025 marked the end of a turbulent era. She died as she lived, on her own terms. She was a woman who tasted every pleasure the world offered and broke hundreds of hearts, yet found peace only when she walked away from it all. Brigitte Bardot leaves a legacy impossible to categorize. A revolutionary who liberated female sexuality, a victim of a predatory industry, a passionate lover, and a flawed human. We should remember her not just as a blonde bombshell, but as a survivor who fought a lifelong war for ownership of her body. In the end, she belonged to no man, not Vadim, not the others. She belonged only to herself. Rest in peace, BB.